I did see an amazing clip from MUTV, like United's channel,
Oh yeah.
where it was after the game, and they must be in like the restaurant or something in Old Trafford, or maybe like one of the boxes where like people are after the game all eating and stuff.
Right.
And there's two presenters and they're talking to each other. And while they're talking, two kids run up. I'd say they're like 8 or 9, and they're like sticking their tongue out at the camera and all that. And then they go to run off, and the presenter makes an insane move. He like gets the kid to come back so he can ask him live on air things. And he went, "So what did you think of the game?" And he puts the mic up, and the little 8-year-old looks dead at the camera and he goes, "Ollie out." And then and then the next kid, he passes the mic to him and he goes, "Yeah, Ollie out. Sancho's crap."
Yeah, that's what I have to love about kids. They tell it how it is.
Yeah. What was that presenter thinking?
Oh, that is terrible, terrible journalism. Don't ever give away the mic.
Yeah. Don't give the mic to the kid who's clearly trying to annoy you.
Live on air. I mean, I guess if I thought I'll embarrass him out of it, but that backfired big time. Sounds like.
And I bet there's people watching like, that kid knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Carl and Will. We're back for episode 50.
Yeah, the Bonanza.
No Nonsense number 50. And you know what? With this very special episode, we're going to start off with a very special treat. We have a fan email.
Ding, 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 ding.
An email from a fan, from a listener called Blake Sluck, all the way from the US of fucking A.
Yeehaw.
And he has to say, hello, it is I, your Castbox listener from Texas. First off, I thoroughly enjoy listening to you guys. I've listened to dozens of football podcasts, and your pod remains my favourite. Dozens, Will.
Dozens.
So if you are seeking validation, here you have it. Okay. Bring me down a peg or two straight away there. Okay. Your tops, don't let it go to your head. Okay, this is just like it's body blow, and then he's it's all over the place.
Laughy point, serious point.
Yeah. In the interest of knocking you down after building you up, the most recent episode only has one of your audio. It is shades of Garfield minus Garfield. Now, here's a link for your reference.
Paul,
and he's
for once, is he implying I am the Garfield of the podcast?
Well, he's left a very helpful link here to as a kind of a metaphor for my own incompetence and failure. What happened was, and sorry, I'll finish the email. I go, anyways, please keep on doing your thing. I tell my friends to listen to you guys. Sincerely, a fan. Thank you so much for the email, Blake. Genuinely, we do appreciate it. Appreciate it as a real fan. What he's referring to there is the last episodes. I, in my impatience, uploaded the wrong file, and it was just me. Yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't know, we do this on Zoom. So, I record my file, Will records his, and then we, put them together and we stick it up. And I just put my file up there. So, it was literally me talking to myself and reacting, and then long silences.
Like an insane person, it sounded like.
Like Garfield minus Garfield.
Yeah.
Give that a quick Google. You know exactly what Blake's referring to. It's spot on.
Yeah. Great reference.
Great reference, Blake. And I caught it and I fixed it, and that's what Blake was referring to there. So he got us there. He got us. He called us on it. And he's right, but his problem's fixed. So yeah, like I said, thanks for the email, Blake.
Yeah.
Anybody else, you could learn a thing from Blake.
Yeah.
Our listener in Nepal.
Yeah, who are you?
the guy in Kathmandu who's climbing Mount Everest and listening to our podcast on the way up.
He's looking for us at the highest point. He thinks we're there.
Well, send us a picture of any dead bodies that you see on your trail. Because I know there is. I've heard loads about the dead bodies on Mount Everest.
Do you think maybe he is our long gone French listener who has now moved? And
It could be.
He's trying to find himself by climbing Mount Everest.
Maybe he was, training in France, and now he's maybe training the Alps.
Yeah.
And now he's moved on to the big dog of Mount Everest. Now he's having to go with that. And on the way up, he's listening to the pod. So if that is the case, if that is what's happened, keep going.
Stay
follow
safe.
Your dreams.
Yeah.
Our Nepal listener, and like I say, any dead bodies, cool pictures, send them our way, and we'll describe them on the pod. With your consent, of course.
We can confirm now the email does in fact work.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing. Now we can't use that anymore. That the email probably doesn't work. Now it does work. We've gotten one email.
Yeah, he blew the cobwebs off the email.
So yeah, that's episode 50. Special little treat there. Yeah. Email from a fan. So thank you again, Blake. Mm-hmm. Besides that, there was some Premier League action this weekend, Will.
Yeah, sure was.
The big one, City versus Liverpool, the real rivalry of our time. Yeah. And I think I said earlier in an earlier episode, is it really a rivalry if City win most of the time?
Yeah.
In terms of like the league trophy, but I mean Liverpool, I think City wouldn't be as good without this Liverpool team pushing them. I don't think. I mean that was a really good game there on Sunday. Liverpool went up twice, and then City had to come back and equalise. I mean, Mo Salah was unbelievable.
He was outrageous. It was the first time I've really thought, and like you hear people saying it sometimes, but it was the first time I was like, he might be the best player in the league pretty comfortably. He's unbelievable, and he has been since day one, like since he arrived at Liverpool. Yeah,
one season wonder, as Liverpool fans like to always remind people of.
Remember that season where he scored like 60 goals? That was insane.
Well, even more impressive is your last season at Chelsea where he's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, this is why, like, when Liverpool signed him for big enough money, I think it was like 30 million or 25 million maybe. Yeah. It's kind of like, this is another Lallana situation. Like, why? Like, that's not worth that money. And, people get so entrenched in because it's Liverpool versus United or whatever. And you go, no, he's useless. And he scores a few goals, and Liverpool fans are like, now, like, a few goals, we'll see, one season wonder. And really, he hasn't looked back from that season. Like I say, he's just been unbelievable. But I did see a few different news outlets debating, is Salah the best player in the world right now?
I don't know about that.
And I was like, well, I think Carragher was saying on Sky Sports as well. And he's been good. I think Benzema's probably been a bit better.
Yeah, I think
so. I mean, look at their stats. I think he scored 10 goals in 10 games and 7 assists. 10 goals and 7 assists in 10 games, Benzema has.
Fucking hell.
I think Salah has 9 goals and 3 assists in 9 games.
Yeah.
Which
he played Norwich in that too. Doesn't count.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like, who's Benzema playing? We don't see it. So it's kind of like, oh, well, it doesn't count then,
Yeah.
And I think I told this story on the podcast before. A mad United fan, not you, someone else though. Years ago, a madder was telling me that Rafael da Silva was the best right back in the world right now. And this is when he was playing well. I think I called up to Brazil at the time as well. One was like the 2 caps that he ever got. He was in really good form. But I was like, I don't know about that now. Just saying things like, well, he's played well for the last few months, but I don't know what, best in the world. It's like, well, who'd you have ahead of him? I was like, Philip Lahm probably. It's like, no, like right now, like playing right now.
Today, at this minute.
I'm like, well, what's the question? Like, I mean, what in this scenario, am I a manager who's buying him for the next 3-year contract? Am I picking him in a 5-side game right now? Because it really doesn't matter. Unless I'm playing against other stars. In that case, then I'm going to be the weak link. It's this total kind of hypothetical that makes no sense. And they were doing a bit with, and again, not saying Salah is fucking Rafael da Silva here. I'm not saying that for a second. But it's just that kind of thing of like, the best player in the world right now. It's like, that's not how football works.
Yeah, there's no right now. It's over a long period is how you judge.
It's over the course of the league, It's like, over the course of your career, over the course of a season at least. You usually don't buy a player out based on one good season. That's what they say, one season wonder.
Yeah.
Like Salah has been the best player maybe over the last 5 years, but when you say right now, it's just so kind of Sky Sports to me.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing of we laugh at the best league in the world because like that was obviously a load of bollocks. But like no one. Well, like now, like say I can look up Benzema's stats on my phone in 2 seconds and go, oh, there you go, you're wrong. Was I'm not even wrong. It's debatable.
Yeah.
Whereas before it's like you didn't know what Kaká was doing in AC Milan because like I know he's pretty good, but I don't see him play, and like it's not beamed into my phone. Like you always see those like the classic Serie A clips now or La Liga clips that you used to see growing up. You can see now on your Instagram feed. So like it's everything's much more debatable now. So to say like, oh, he's the best player in the world, or John Terry's the best centre back in the world, I never thought, he probably is. Because I wasn't watching Nesta play every week or whatever. Like it's one of those things. I thought, how are they getting away with this still? That you can just say like, Salah's probably the best finisher in the world right now.
They should have like an unbiased fact checker just sitting there. Whenever anyone says that, he goes, 1 sec there. Actually, that's wrong. Pause for a second there.
I guess that would be pretty boring. So maybe you're right, Will. I'm sucking the fun out of this one. No, I look, and this thing, like Salah had an unbelievable game. The assists that he got for Mane's goal, I mean, from his own half, like was it Rodri, I think, who like dived in a bit.
He just dinked it over him.
He didn't go sliding past him. He didn't completely commit himself. He just kind of, dived in a bit, jinked past him, sprinted by, I think, Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
Burned him, and then beautiful ball for Mane, first time finish. It was a real Liverpool goal. Like this Liverpool team, that's the kind of, breakaway goal that you just can't stop. And then his own goal was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was absurd.
Absurd. Because, like, Laporte did, like, the right thing. Get him on his right foot, tight angle. You got a fucking, the best keeper, one of the best keepers in the world, probably him and Alisson. 2 Premier League keepers. They have to be the best keepers in the world.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know anyone else. But like a really good keeper. You're not like someone thinking, oh, you don't want him to get a shot on. Like, from this angle, I'm backing the keeper stop this, and just like off the post and in on his bad foot. I mean, Jesus Christ. But yeah, fair play.
The ball was literally like ping ponging between his 2 feet while he was like turning all over. It was mental. It was very like something Hazard used to score every week for a while. Yeah.
But City were good too. Obviously, I mean they came back twice. Phil Foden he had Milner in hell that whole game. I mean, obviously they're missing Alexander Arnold. I don't know if you saw that graphic on the sideline with his stats.
No,
it's like chances created, first pass, crucial pass. Like he's first in all these creative stats. And then it cuts to Milner just like dragging out of Phil Foden, like desperately trying to stop this kid who's like 20 years younger than him.
Did you see that Gary Neville gave a joint man of the match?
Yes. What were you doing with that?
Let's just pick one, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's been draws before. There'll be draws again. You can't do that.
Surely, if this is the case, there'd be a joint man of the match all the fucking time. Just pick one. That's the point. It's not the men of the match.
The men of the match. I mean, I remember...
That's what we should have called the podcast.
Men of the match.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too late now. Episode 50. Well, we're committed.
Too late, yeah.
We have fan mail. We can't. It's all about brand identity. Yeah, it was one of those things though. It was like, no one deserved to lose that game type of a feeling. I was hoping for like a double entry, but that never happened.
That'd be good.
Who was it? Phil Foden and
Salah.
And Salah, yeah. Again, I would give it to Salah because Phil Foden was marking James Milner, 35-year-old auxiliary left back or right back, I should say.
Yeah.
So I mean, and City had targeted him where they moved Grealish into the middle and said, no, Phil, you run at him.
Yeah.
And he did it all game. I was like, well, yeah, it was the weak spot. So I don't know. It was a great goal. Phil Foden's goal was a great finish, and he did play well, but, Salah was marking Kyle Walker, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it Cancelo? Either or. Like, when they're starting...
And Rodri as well, pretty much. Like, they were all over.
Yeah, so I mean... I don't know about that. And he got the goal and the assist. I think that was just... That was just for the Gary Neville and Martin Tyler coming out there. I think, fuck Liverpool.
Yeah,
Fuck them. Fuck them. Of course, the draw means that it's still very open. No one running away with it yet after 7 games, which doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
But this year especially, it does seem like a lot more close. Definitely closer than it was last year.
Yeah.
But closer than the last few years.
Yeah, like Chelsea are still very much in the mix as well. United are still up there points-wise, but they haven't had a hard game yet this season. Like, there hasn't been a team they've played that they shouldn't have beat, it seems like, and they've struggled.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to go too well.
Yeah, because we were saying that as well. Like, if you look at, Arsenal and Tottenham are only, 6 points off or 4 points off, but it's like, well, the way they're playing, and the squad they have, that point gaps will increase. Believe you me, don't worry about that just yet. It's only 7 games in, and United obviously not to the same extent. It does kind of feel like they're close points wise, and they're still in top 4, but you'd be surprised if
they push on.
They could turn this thing around and start to just it just starts clicking, and then tactically they're just so much better than they are. That feels like it's. But look, this thing, we're at international break now. So you have time to regroup. Should we get on to the United game now? Is it? Because the Ollie out stuff is it's never really went away. Obviously,
yeah,
there's always been an element of it, but
there was a lot of like. But he's doing fine for a long time. But this is definitely the worst he's been, I think.
Because like if City had say won every game this year and were like just pulling away, and like Liverpool and Chelsea and United weren't close, it'd be like, oh well, look, you can't compete with that oil money. Yeah. But because it's like, Chelsea are top now and they haven't played that well.
Yeah.
That could be United if all he was any good.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of sense, and it's like not even strictly true, but it's just. The sense of this is a moment that you're missing out on here.
Yeah. Especially after coming second last year, even though they were a mile behind, but it's just like, like these chances, like surely in a few years City are going to buy a whole new team with a new savage manager, and the chance is gone again for a few years. So it doesn't come around often. Like,
no, and like saying with the City Liverpool rivalry, like Liverpool have won the league once with over the last 3 or 4 years. And it's not because Klopp or did anything that wrong or fucked it that much. It's just like sometimes the chances don't come around that often. Like I know United won a lot, of times in a row, and it seems like this is going to happen every year. But that is just not the norm. Yeah. When you have like the Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Leicester, Tottenham, Arsenal, like decent teams who can actually compete and take points off you. Like chances for it to all click and all come together and all have players at the club at the same time. Yeah. You don't want to let it slip because you want to give Ollie more time. Yeah. But look, we'll get into the game. 1-1. Everything were actually pretty good. Yeah. To be fair. Doucouré, he looked like a Ndombele who cares. He was like really, really good in that middle of the park. Of course, McFred always comes under scrutiny when they lose. Yeah. But Ndombele was excellent.
Yeah, really good. And I thought in the first half, I actually thought it was United's probably best half. Even though they'd beaten teams like 4-0 and stuff at the start of the season, the first half I thought it was the best they've looked. But then they just fell off a cliff after it. As soon as they get, it's like there's a bit of hardship, things just go awry.
Yeah. Of course, the big story before the game was Ronaldo benched for the first time that anybody could remember. Yeah. When he wasn't injured or whatever. And again, take everything else that we know aside. Your 36-year-old striker, you bench him against an Everton team who are missing their 3 best players. You're at home. Yep. Should be a game with the squad that you have that you can win. Yep. And Anthony Martial, who came on, he scores. Yep. So at first look, it's like, well, this is exactly why you have a squad. What's the point of having this huge, highly paid squad if we can't possibly play then? Yeah. Now you had... Matic was also on the bench, which people were saying he's been playing pretty well. Lingard, obviously. Lingard's started on the bench though as well. So it wasn't like he had benched everybody. Pogba also was on the bench. Yeah. Who people have been saying he can only play on the left. So it wasn't as if like he had a total second string team.
It was a good team,
yeah. But just when Ronaldo isn't playing and you draw the game, then it's just like, oh, you idiot.
You fucking blew it. Did you see?
What I would have done is I would have played him.
I simply would have won the game. I don't know if you saw after the game, Ronaldo very dramatically storming off the pitch and like ranting to himself. So
yes, I did. I saw Andros Townsend. I think went to get his jersey.
Yeah,
and I think he gave it to him off the pitch.
Yeah.
You just need to cool off. Just give you a second, Andros. Need to cool off. Okay.
Shocked he gave him the jersey after he did the celebration.
Yeah, the celebration, which he described as kind of an homage to him.
That makes no sense. You're mocking him.
Well, it's the intent behind it. Maybe we saw it as, wow, that's some top class shithousery there, but in his mind, he thought Ronaldo will love this.
And you know what? Thinking of it, Ronaldo is like, he seems like a very arrogant man. He probably did love it.
well, I think he is, but he hates losing and not winning more. Yeah. So everything else was like, well, I don't care if you fucking suck me off if I lose, So yeah, it was and I've seen loads of lads do that at training, doing the Ronaldo celebration since he's back. Yeah. One of the worst impressions I've seen. I mean, it's so easy to do. Anybody can do it.
He was so loose. His arms were flying all over the place. It was very odd.
Yeah, pumping full of testosterone, Andros Townsend. He's on a hot streak right now. He couldn't control his limbs after he scored another goal. But yeah, what was I going to say? You don't think it was you wouldn't appreciate that if you were Ronaldo, seeing someone do your celebration?
No, I don't think so, especially in a game against you.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny in his interview, in Townsend's interview after. Like, he just gave a normal interview, but like, he's pretty likable. And after it, I think it was Rio was like, well, can I just say it's such a treat to see someone so, I think he said eloquent and like well spoken do an interview after a game. He's a real professional. It's like, he just fucking talked. It's like, literally, the bar is so low for post-match interviews that when someone is kind of likable, Rio's like, wow, what a treat that man is.
I didn't see that. That's weird.
Very weird.
Yeah, his interviews are always very kind of like not David Brent. It seems like kind of an insult, but like it's very kind of like that office banter kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I think the interview was like, he hadn't scored like in 53 games for Crystal Palace or something like that. And he goes, good to see that, yeah, you have your scoring form back. He's like, back, never had it, mate. It's like, aye.
Townsend, you bollocks.
Do you want a coffee, man? I'm just going to cup of tea now. Like it's like that kind of like, never had it. Well, you're a fresh footballer, you did have it. It's like,
are you implying you can't score goals, Townsend?
Yeah, like when everyone under such scrutiny and he's like, oh, I'm shite. You get paid thousands a week. Like, stop being fake humble. But it's like that kind of, that's his personality. Because he's getting into it every week now because he keeps scoring. So he keeps seeing these like your dad's jokes.
I would say as well, for Everton's goal, it was a real difference between City and United especially. There was about 5 chances to just hack down Demarai Gray and probably wouldn't have even been a yellow card because he was so far away from the goal. Fred literally ran at him and bounced off him.
I did see that, yeah. That was as your kicker, your enforcer. You want more from Fred there, aren't you?
Kick him.
Yeah. Just enforce him.
Yeah. Get a yellow card or just stop. Like, no one stopped the play. Everyone immediately ran toward him a bit and then panicked and ran back towards the goal. They were like, oh, fuck, he's coming.
Yeah. Demarai coming. No, he's been excellent though, Demarai Gray. I mean,
unreal.
Like we were saying before, it came for like £1 million from Leverkusen. Don't know why they did Leverkusen. Don't know how well that went. Yeah. Again, probably not that well if they only sold him for £1 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's Rafa seems good at that. I don't know how, like, if he's picking the players or whatever the fuck, but he does seem to get the most out of small budgets. Like, he did all right at Newcastle as well with his signings, I think.
Yeah.
And like, I think Townsend and Gray together cost like £2 million, and they're flying it.
Yeah, I think he came with a free transfer. Andros Townsend for Crystal Palace. I think he was released by Crystal Palace. And this isn't one of these messy
yeah.
free transfers where you have to pay them signing on bonuses. It was like, can I please bet your club? Can I
Go
please
on.
stay in the Premier League? Because I remember he was on Sky Sports and his contract was running down. He was talking to this guy. He was literally like trying to promote himself. Like, yeah, I got 6 more hours on my Crystal Palace contract, so we'll see what happens with that. It's like, you're not getting an extension, Andros.
You're on TV right now. You're definitely not.
They'll be talking to you before now if you get that. But he was still like,
I'm sure they'll ring.
you know what? We'll see. You know, it's like, kind of what? He obviously knew what the Everton thing coming up or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to sign me on a free, but like, you know. Great business by Everton, and this is where we thought this, because they were good at the start and they were good last season. But when you lose players like Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison and the experience of Seamus Coleman, it's like, oh, this is where these teams struggle big time because the squad isn't there. But like I said, Decore has been excellent so far. Damari Gray, he's playing kind of like behind the striker almost. Behind Big Rondon. Yeah. You know, Rondon sets him up and Damari Gray.
We forgot about Rondon as well in the side.
No, I never forget Rondon. Led the line quite well, I felt. But no, like they're with the players they have, the squad they have. You think, oh, there's no way they like you up some kind of fight. They could have gone top if they'd won. Against United. That's how close it's been this season. They looked the most likely, Everton, to be the kind of the surprise package this year.
The West Ham or the whoever, like
because West Ham and Leicester both had Europa League.
The curse. Never, if you have a chance of getting the Europa League, don't do it. Throw the games.
Yeah, you better not get disqualified for cheating in the qualifying round, because like
your league is doomed if you do it, especially if you're one of the smaller teams.
It's tough going. So Everton are pretty well placed now to capitalise on that Thursday night off. Get an extra sauna session in or something. I don't know. But they look good. And United, I don't know. We'll see where they end up. They still have a good squad. But like I say, international break now is now the time to sack Ollie. If not now, when?
This is when they did it with Jose. It was as soon as it was coming up to an international break, because that makes the most sense. It definitely feels like it's the closest he's ever been.
Yes, it definitely does.
And he's been worse. Like, we've been near the bottom of the league, and but it's been like he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. But now it's like, well, you have everything. You have all of the excuses we made for you.
Yeah, the expectation versus where they actually are now is a lot different than when you say, oh, the players aren't good enough. You know, he's only so much you can do. So it's like, well, of course he'll be there. But now it's like the excuses are drying up. You know, and you just make like decisions like that, which aren't even necessarily wrong, like benching Ronaldo and drawing. It's like,
it just looks bad.
It's like if you thought you could bench Ronaldo and still win, you were wrong. So
and
if
you were making the point that like it's a tactical move or whatever, don't bring him on 50 minutes in. Because as soon as they brought him on, like Cavani was sprinting all over the pitch. He was like defending fucking headers in his box, running up to the other end. As soon as Ronaldo and Sancho and Pogba come on, Pogba and Ronaldo are not going to be fucking working like dogs. Like, they don't do that. So then it's like, as soon as Everton scored, then you're fucked.
Yeah. It did look like that a bit. Kind of, you know, you read into these things like, oh, they're not playing for the manager kind of thing. It's hard to tell. It's hard to know that. But I mean, certainly the way Ronaldo walked off, like we're saying, I think Pogba walked off as well. Pogba's a bit of that kind of. Yeah. Like, Ronaldo is genuinely a psychopath, and he doesn't think.
Yeah, I believe it when Ronaldo does it.
Yeah, he is generally talking to himself.
He's like, fuck, I can't believe this. This is bullshit.
Yeah. Whereas Pogba's like, oh, I'll do that too. You know, like a small child might copy, their dad.
Yeah, and he's probably saying to himself, like, I wonder, are PSG still interested? That'd be good crack. Or, I don't know. He's like, what am I going to have for dinner tomorrow? Did you see Ollie talking about Van de Beek? Remember we talked about him last week, that video?
No, I didn't catch that. No,
Not
what did he
good.
say?
During the week he said we don't have time for what was it? Not slouches. He said we don't have time for people who aren't willing to put the effort in, basically. Without saying his name, I was like, obviously. But then before the game, he was joking about it, and he was like, "Oh, I was taught when I was younger not to swallow gum. I'm sure Van de Beek taught to say blah blah blah." But like, when you're
What?
yeah, exactly. He was like making a joke about it, and it's like there's a point where at the I think it was in the 91st minute or something like that, where it showed him trying to get McTominay to do something when they're desperately trying to get a goal in Old Trafford, and he had the biggest smile on his face, like he still just can't believe he has the job. He's like he's just riding it out. I think those things that used to annoy people, now they're really going to piss people off, because like take it serious. Like I'm sure he is, but on the outside, it's like this guy doesn't care at all.
Yeah, it's all perception, isn't it, in this job, in this game? Well, I mean, for Chelsea fans, the perception of winning 3-1, albeit against Southampton, looks pretty good, but it was a lot closer than it might look.
Yeah.
Chelsea went 1 up. Trevor Shabaloa with the goal. What is with Chelsea defenders this year? Can't stop scoring.
Is that a Tuchel thing, or what is going on?
Maybe it's the system. I don't know, but nearly all of them have scored at least one goal.
Yeah.
Rudiger, Alonso scored a couple, I think.
Yeah.
Chilwell scored again today. Like, I mean, it's just like, get the defenders forward. They'll never suspect it. Shabaloa scored the first minute. The first half, the 9th minute, very early on. And then it was kind of like, Chelsea going to grind this one out. You know, they're just going to control possession. They got a bigger squad. Something aren't going to be interested in this. Yeah. And then our friend Penn Chilwell. That's right, folks. He's
living
back.
Up to his name.
He either misses penalties or gives them away. Does Penn Chilwell. He gave away a penalty, and James Ward-Prowse dispatched it dutifully. Mm-hmm. And there's 1-1. And I was like, oh shit, you know, what are Chelsea going to do now? And then who do you think is going to step up? Who do you want to get a goal for you when it really matters? That's right, Timo fucking Werner.
Yeah.
Timo Werner gets the second goal of the game. The first goal was disallowed.
Yeah.
It was for a foul. It wasn't really a foul.
No, it was bollocks. Yeah.
A bollocks foul on Kyle Walker-Peters from Azpilicueta. And it was one of those VAR calls from like 3 plays back almost. You know, it wasn't even. But yeah, Timo got his goal, celebrated like mad, which I love to see. Mm-hmm. And then Ben Chilwell, to his credit, got the third goal, a ridiculous goal, an Alonso type goal actually.
Yeah.
And that's why you would say Alonso's in the team ahead of him, because he's kind of better going forward. Like Alonso's highlight reel is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, like a very sweet striker of the ball too. But you'd say, and this is the thing, when Ben Chilwell gave away the penalty, he's like, well, this is the guy that can defend, you know. So, but he obviously scored a great goal himself. He was almost saved by McCarthy, but you know, no cigar.
Yeah.
And 3-1 for Chelsea, but it was. The turning point was Ward-Prowse getting sent off for a tackle on.
I think it was a bollocks red card.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought a yellow card was totally fair, and I think like if the ref gives a yellow card, he's close to it. It's a bit bollocks to be like, you should look at that again. Like he was there, he saw it. That's what he thought at the time. So yeah. I think I don't like those VAR calls. I get it if the ref doesn't see it, or like if he doesn't give a foul at all or something like that, but when he punishes the player and they're like, actually do more, and then he goes, okay, fine. I don't really like that.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the only thing is that the ref saw it, but maybe he didn't quite see what happened. You know what I mean? Like,
but then
he saw him go in, you know?
But then you have to do that for like every foul. Because when is he ever going to be right?
Well, they do for most of them, I think. They've called a few backwards like that. Actually, you might want to have a look at that tackle. That was actually not... Like the fucking Harry Barnes one, obviously. Or Harvey Elliott, I suppose. That wasn't VAR. That was like when he saw his leg was broken.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean. The thing was, like, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what the rules are exactly, if that even matters. But, like, he was obviously going for the ball. He was kind of reckless, and he did hurt him. So if that's a red, then that's like, I mean, the way, was that Martin Hankinson? You saw it, I think it was?
I think so, yeah. Not sure.
He saw him slide in and connect with him, and then on the replay he sees him like crunch him all leg, no ground or ball. Like it was like didn't get near anything, bar his leg. So it was pretty bad on the replay. Like I say, everything in slow motion looks bad.
Yeah.
That was it then for
I was
Southampton,
worried.
wasn't it?
Yeah, as soon as Southampton got a player sent off, I thought, oh no, there's going to be 7 goals coming now. But they held on much better than they have in the past when they're down to 10 men.
Well, there wasn't enough time. It was 77 minutes that James Ward-Prowse got sent off, then 84, and then 89. Like if they had 20 more minutes, it would have been you know 2 or 3 more goals maybe. But yeah, it's tough for Southampton because like they were well in that game, and it was just kind of unfortunate. Because it was a straight pass from Mendy, so it looked like it was kind of there.
Yeah, he was just desperate to get to it. Like it wasn't that he was flying in to hurt anyone.
Yeah. So yeah, one of those ones. But look, it puts Chelsea top of the league now.
What did you make of Lukaku and his form lately? He's kind of dipped again.
Well, he's just Lukaku and Werner up front, the unstoppable combination.
Yeah.
I'm liking this combo. You know, 1 week it's Werner, next week it's Lukaku. I think that's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Think Sterling and Suarez. Oh no, Suarez and Sturridge. That's what it's going to be like.
Because I've noticed that like the calls are already like Lukaku doesn't need to be benched and all this. It's like, have you not seen him in the league before? This is what he does. He like has spouts of banging in goals, then he'll go missing a bit, then he'll bang in goals. He's the same. Like,
yeah, I do think though, like all joking aside, they do have a lot of players on the pitch who can score as well. So it doesn't even necessarily be everything to Lukaku.
He's not really the main man. They don't have a main man. They don't need one because everyone is good.
Yeah. And it's better that way. Like, bar like 1 or 2 players that are just completely unplayable. You know, if you know that like they're trying to get the ball to this person or they're trying to get it through him, so you stop him and you win the game.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have Lukaku and if it is Werner, hopefully he can score more goals. And likes of a Chilwell or a Rudiger coming up scoring a goal. It's like, well, you can't just stop one person. You have to actually be better than them all over the pitch.
Yeah.
Like Loftus-Cheek, he's a ridiculously athletic looking lad. He's so good. And then Ross Barkley. See the ball that Ross Barkley gave to. Like these are like the third choice players. Like this was like Kante didn't even play.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, I think that's where Chelsea's real strength is in that, like, they can play a world 11 from the bench almost, and it doesn't have to be one player. You're not going to say, oh, it's going to go through Hudson-Odoi, he's going to win the scores. Like, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think Lukaku will mind if they win the league this year.
Yeah, definitely not.
Or they win something else. So I mean, I don't think he's going to probably score as much as he did last year or the year before in Inter Milan, because like I say, it's not Chelsea set up. But I still think he'll get 20 league goals this season, plus a couple in the Champions League, and I think he's not going to be completely dominant. He's not going to be like Salah now. But no, I think he's doing fine. I think like I say, 7 games in still.
Yeah,
we'll see how he ends up.
It does feel like, I think we were talking about before as well, it's like after this international break, the second one, is when things actually start. It's like, okay, now we kind of have an idea of who's good. Let's try now. We know who's good in our teams. Like, the teams will know now, hey, maybe we should try stopping Damari Gray. Things like that.
It's just a thought, okay? I'm just saying. Well, as we were saying, everything seemed to be the kind of surprise package this year. Last year's not really surprise package, but kind of looked like they maybe broke into top 6. Leicester continued their difficult form this year.
Yeah, they haven't really recovered since Fofana's leg break, it seems.
Fofana has been lost, but also Europa League. Can't underestimate it. I mean, they played again Thursday. Who did they lose to or play? I think somebody good. I think they played Napoli the first game and they drew that one. And they lost the League of Warsaw. Lost 1-0 on the Thursday, and then play Crystal Palace, going really well. And this is the thing that we said, if they can keep on to all their players, it'd be huge, and they kind of have.
Yeah.
But I mean, Maddison and Barnes had injuries before the end of last season. And they're out all summer, so maybe they're just like a couple months behind in terms of getting back to where they were, but they haven't been good. Barnes, he's been in my fantasy team the entire season so far. He got his first assist last week. So from where he was last year, he's dropped way off.
Yeah.
Maddison has been benched for Ademola Lookman.
Yeah, and I think wasn't Maddison like really angling for a move to Arsenal in the summer? So
It's hard to know.
I wonder, does that come into it where they're like, all right, well, fucking maybe you didn't get your move and now you're stuck here, so fucking sit on the bench for a bit.
I don't think so. I think if he was good enough, he'd be playing, because they're in 13th,
Yeah.
And again, it's hard to know these things. Did he ever want to go to Arsenal?
Yeah.
It was a tension between him and Leicester City. I don't know. But Ademola Lookman is Ademola Lookman. Right?
a classic bit.
That's what I said to him. Like, he's a classic kind of relegated side pickup.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, he was good for them. He wasn't fucking pulling up any trees now, let's be honest. He was good, but he wasn't. City weren't coming in for him.
Yeah.
But he's definitely worth the place in the squad at Leicester because he's fast and he's good. But the form had him in last year. Like, if he's playing that well, Lookman wouldn't be getting a look in.
Very good.
Yeah. I was going to say pardon the pun, but it's not even a pun.
It's just uses the word look twice.
Pardon the word sounding the same.
Whenever Ademola Lookman comes up, the quality of this podcast takes a
goes through the roof.
nosedive.
Yeah, nosedive. No, but you know what I mean. Like, their midfield, which was their strength last season, is the thing that's not going that well. I mean, Wilfred and Diddy, he just hasn't looked the same.
Yeah.
This year. Now, he didn't have a lot to do last summer, but Tielemans he's playing with Belgium, obviously. I'd say Madison and Barnes were injured, so they're probably rehabbing.
Yeah.
They just look a bit tired, except for Jamie Vardy, of course, who is never going to.
Who is immune to age.
Never going to top scoring. He's top scoring the league this year again, so far.
It feels like he is every year at some point. Like, he's always way up there.
Oh, he's thereabouts. I mean, I remember last season we were saying, should England take him to the World Cup? Like, if he ends up as top scorer, is it fair to not take him?
Yeah.
And not play him? Well, we saw that one. Ended up for England and Harry Kane, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, boo.
Yeah. Besides the point, Besides the point. But like Leicester, they beat Wolves on Opening Day, and they beat Norwich 2-1. So they actually conceded against Norwich, which even Burnley haven't done.
Yeah.
They lost every other game and then drew with Burnley. So they drew with Burnley, lost to Brighton, lost to City, lost to West Ham. They haven't been good, and then obviously drew with Crystal Palace again this week.
Yeah.
It's the Europa League combined with their players playing a lot of football last year and during the summer.
Do you think the 2 years of coasting in the top four and then blowing it right at the end would take a bit of toil on the players as well, where they're like, oh fuck, like, now we're not even up in the fourth. Like, last year we were flying it for so long. Like, 2 big collapses in a row. I wonder, does that come into play?
No, I wouldn't say so. I'd say maybe it comes into play if they're in the situation again.
Yeah, right.
If you get kind of PTSD, like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, oh no.
But because like last 2 seasons ago, they obviously had the collapse, and then last season they were right back at it again. We're like, all right, let's go again. And I think this season it's general fatigue from the players. I don't think it's actual like, oh, what's the point?
Fuck this.
Leicester have gone emo. Like, oh, who cares, man? Yeah, very little talk of Brendan Rodgers so far. That'll come later on, I'm assuming, when eventually the knives come out for Brendan Rodgers, as they seem to do every year.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the other manager that we thought might be on the first one to go, Patrick Vieira, he's done very well at Crystal Palace, hasn't he?
Find it. Palace are always, it's hard to tell how good or bad they are. I think it's a good judge of how good your team is on what results you get against Palace. That usually tells you where you're going to finish in the league, I think. Because they're never that great, but they're never awful, so it's always a good barometer for it.
Yeah. As I say, Palace got the draw there against Leicester City. They kind of dominated the first kind of opening exchange, whatever you want to call it. And then Leicester got 2 goals. It was like, oh, well, this is bad for Crystal Palace. They won't get back from this. But they got 2 back. So they really are like showing, kind of character or whatever. And he brought on Jeffrey Schlupp, and he got the second goal. So it was a great substitution from Patrick Vieira as well. So yeah, I think he's probably in line so far for manager of the season.
Yeah, he's way up there.
Because like they always give it to someone like who they don't expect. Like they rarely give it to Pep or Klopp. That's like their first season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very impressed with Crystal Palace. They've managed to keep on to Zaha, which I think was huge for them. Especially with who's man did the cruciate last year. Very good for them.
Ezra, or is that his name?
Eze. I thought when they lost Eze, that would be tough to kind of fill that gap. But like I said, Gallagher coming in on loan from Chelsea, and Edward as well has been pretty good for them. And now, of course, they have a bit of a bench as well. They had Benteke coming off the bench, and like I said, Jeffrey Schlupp as well. So they have a bit of strength and depth as well, which helped them get the draw in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know where that puts them on the table now, actually. Where does that put them? Let me get a quick look. They're 14th, just behind Leicester. So that's kind of where they finished last season. But yeah, I think they've been playing well though. All the same, I think they'll finish higher than 14th. I'd imagine this year.
Yeah,
I think maybe top half be a good first season for Patrick Vieira and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, then there wasn't really much else. 2-0. Arsenal continuing their record of clean sheets.
Yeah.
Who'd said that at the start of the season?
Yeah.
Bit of a win for Brentford against West Ham. Tottenham beat Aston Villa. Just a few mid-table clashes, really. That's all it was. Fortunately for Arsenal and Tottenham fans alike, just a few mid-table mediocrity clashes there.
I did see today that someone in the Athletic was talking about did you know Nuno, there's a clause in his contract where if he doesn't get top 6, Spurs are allowed to release him for free.
Really?
Why would you sign that?
Yeah, especially when you know your 12th choice. It's like, listen, lads, you want me. You call
exactly.
me.
Like, that is, I thought that was a bit disrespectful to, like, he's the only manager that was like, yeah, I'll come to you. And then you're like, we're going to get rid of you, like, ASAP.
Jesus. Well, that's, like you say, that's the Premier League news. You might be thinking, I can't wait for more Premier League action next weekend.
You'll be waiting.
After listening to this podcast, I'm thinking, I can't wait to hear more about this Premier League. Yeah. Well, international break is back.
Back again.
Who are we playing? Will Qatar? Is it? I think it is.
Qatar.
The Qatar one.
The two big ones, Qatar and Azerbaijan.
Yes, big game against Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
I
think, is that a home or away? Were we in Azerbaijan last time?
No, we were at home, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But look, Jeffy Hendrick scored for Newcastle. Sure, they lost, and they definitely should have won the game. But that wasn't to do with Jeff Hendrick.
That won't happen again.
That was nothing to do with Jeff Hendrick. He scored his goal. He did his part.
Yeah. You can't do everything. We always say that about Jeff Hendrick.
Yeah. Adam Mida and Owen Badeli are playing sometimes at Norwich as well. So, it's all going our way.
Yeah, things are going well, yeah.
I don't know if Coleman will be back for the Irish game. I doubt it.
Yeah, highly doubt.
I'd say Everton would be raging if he was to come back for the Everton game and get injured again. So I doubt he'd be released, but we'll see.
Yeah, you wouldn't be too pleased if one of your best players comes back from injury and immediately has to fly to Azerbaijan.
Yeah, to fucking carry a defence on your own. But no, he won't, because Duffy has been playing some excellent stuff at Brighton. So, this is kind of where we were, how we've always been. Like, defenders are going well. That's about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we get a good warm up against Qatar, and then we do the business against Azerbaijan.
Just a win would be nice.
We need to win this time. We need it.
Have we won yet?
In the group?
Yeah, I don't think we have.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
We should have beaten Portugal, but we didn't, and then we drew with Azerbaijan.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about right. Still, though, the hope prevails. Hope prevails. The Irish team. Yeah. Anything else, Will? Do you wanna?
The only other bit of news that's come out today was: did you see is it Panama Papers or?
Oh yeah.
Some big tax thingy, like big fraud thing. The Pandora Papers. Pep Guardiola, Di Maria, and Ancelotti have all been named in them as like tax cheats and the like. So I wonder, will anything happen to those very rich men? But probably not.
No, probably not. They're all at it, aren't they? The tax sheets.
Yeah.
You know, just it involves Ireland a lot of times. They had the double Irish tax or whatever it was.
Yeah. Wait till they get a hold of our tax sheets from this pod.
Hey, tell you that much, man. You're telling me you've done 50 episodes and made no money. Book 'em, boys.
Impossible. No. You're in the red? No way. No chance.
No, you tell me you've been doing this podcast for 10 years.
And you've had 4 emails? Not likely.
6,000 episodes. Not one red cent. A likely story. Oh, I guess you two are just the biggest losers in the world. Very believable.
That's what they would say.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?